The life of an Augustinian friar is rooted in the pursuit of veritas, truth, and caritas, charity, animated by a deep yearning for God and community. Inspired by the teachings of Saint Augustine of Hippo, 354-430, the Augustinian order, Ordo Sancti Augustini, follows the rule of Saint Augustine, a foundational text that guides their communal and spiritual life. With a motto of one mind and one heart on the way to God, Augustinian friars seek to build communities of love, contemplation, service, and intellectual growth. Their daily life is a delicate blend of prayer, study, ministry, and community. To choose this life is to embark on a spiritual pilgrimage not only toward God but also toward the hearts of others. The Augustinian friar does not isolate himself from the world, but neither is he absorbed by it. His vocation exists at the crossroads of solitude and solidarity, silence and proclamation. St. Augustine's own journey, from youthful restlessness to profound conversion, is mirrored in the structure of the order itself. Augustine's Confessions, written with remarkable introspection and theological depth, emphasize the longing of the human heart for God. You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you. This restless search for God, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually, is central to the Augustinian life. The Order of St. Augustine, formally established in 1244 through the Grand Union of various hermit communities by Pope Innocent IV, combines elements of early monasticism with the later mendicant movement. These friars were not cloistered monks, but mobile preachers and ministers. They were formed by the spirit of poverty, community life, and pastoral availability to the people of God. The theological heart of the order lies in a balance between rigorous interiority and generous external ministry. For Augustine, the interior life, interior intimo meo, deeper within me than I am myself, is where one meets God, but it is never separated from the call to love one's neighbor. Like most consecrated religious, Augustinian friars take the evangelical counsels. Poverty, embracing simplicity and detachment from material wealth for the sake of spiritual freedom. Poverty is not misery, but a sharing of resources, where nothing is privately owned and all is held in common. Chastity, living celibately in order to love universally and wholeheartedly. Chastity for an Augustinian is not mere abstention, but a deep integration of sexuality, heart, and soul, directed entirely toward God and community. Obedience, submitting their will to their superior and the will of God in all things. This vow is a school of humility and attentiveness. It trains the friar to listen for God's will, not only in prayer, but also in the voice of the church and community. Community life. While not always listed formally, this is essential to the Augustinian identity. The rule of St. Augustine is, in many ways, a manual for living with others in charity. It fosters mutual forgiveness, shared joys, accountability, and spiritual friendship. Living in community is not an option. It is the crucible of sanctity for an Augustinian friar. It is there that pride is broken, charity is learned, and the image of Christ is formed in daily acts of service and humility. An Augustinian friar's daily routine flows between structured liturgical prayer, personal contemplation, apostolic work, and shared meals. A typical day might include 5:30 to 6 a.m., rising in silent personal prayer or Lectio Divina, 7 a.m., morning prayer, lauds, and celebration of the Eucharist in community. 8 to 12 p.m., apostolic work, teaching, preaching, counseling, or parish duties. 12 p.m., midday prayer, sext, followed by lunch. 1 to 3 p.m., rest, study, or administrative tasks. 3-6 p.m., further ministry or spiritual reading. 6 p.m., evening prayer, vespers, and shared dinner. 8 p.m., night prayer, compline, then grand silence begins. This rhythm sanctifies time, bringing every moment under God's presence. Even mundane acts, washing dishes, gardening, or tending to guests, become expressions of love and humility. During feast days or solemnities, additional liturgical celebrations may be added. Sundays often include communal recreation or extended meals. Retreat days allow for longer silence, self-examination, and renewal. Prayer is the lifeblood of the Augustinian friar. The liturgy of the hours, recited in common, frames the day in sacred rhythm. But personal prayer is also essential. Meditation on Scripture, especially the Psalms and Pauline letters, Marian devotion, and contemplation of God's presence in daily life. Augustine's theology of the interior teacher encourages friars to listen to the voice of God in their hearts. Silence, essential for this interior listening, is cherished even in the midst of communal living. Many friars maintain a practice of Eucharistic adoration, where they silently adore Christ present in the Blessed Sacrament. Spiritual reading is also a form of prayer. Augustine's writings, the Church Fathers, the lives of saints, and theological treatises are often integrated into prayer routines, forming the intellect and heart simultaneously. Augustine was one of the Church's most brilliant theologians, and the Augustinian order has historically valued education. Friars undergo extensive intellectual formation: philosophy, theology, scripture, church history, and pastoral training. Some pursue doctorates and teach at universities or seminaries. But study is not for prestige, it's a means of loving God more deeply. Understanding is the reward of faith, Augustine wrote. For Augustinians, the mind is not the enemy of faith, but its companion. Augustinian scholars have contributed richly to Catholic theology, ethics, and philosophy. Their legacy includes great minds like Giles of Rome, Gregor Mendel, Martin Luther before the Reformation, and contemporary theologians. Study is not reserved for the young. Throughout their lives, friars are expected to read, reflect, and remain intellectually curious. Libraries in priories are sacred spaces, symbolizing the order's reverence for wisdom and truth. The friars are not cloistered monks, they are mendicants sent into the world. Their apostolates include preaching. Drawing on Augustine's passionate love of truth and beauty, friars preach in parishes and missions. Teaching. Many friars teach in Catholic schools, universities, and seminaries. Spiritual direction. Trained in Augustine's introspective depth, friars offer guidance for the soul's journey to God. Pastoral care, visiting the sick, comforting the dying, and counseling the brokenhearted. Justice work. Inspired by Augustine's emphasis on the common good, friars engage in social justice initiatives, housing the homeless, advocating for peace, and supporting migrants. Some friars serve as missionaries in developing nations, bringing both faith and humanitarian aid. Others minister in prisons, hospitals, and campuses. Community life is central. Friars live together in priories, sharing not only resources, but also their joys, faults, and growth. Conflicts arise, but the rule of St. Augustine insists on reconciliation. Thus, you should be seen to quarrel, but never to harbor grudges. Meals are shared in silence or fellowship, depending on the house. Recreation may include games, walks, film nights, or music. Community meetings and chapter assemblies allow for shared discernment and governance. The prior of the house is not an authoritarian leader, but a first among equals, guiding with patience and listening. Brotherhood is not a given, it is a daily task. It is built in dishwashing, mutual correction, late-night conversations, and shared suffering. The path to becoming an Augustinian friar takes several years and includes aspirancy postulancy, a period of informal discernment and living in the community. Novitiate, 1 year, a canonical year of intense prayer, study, and spiritual formation, ending with temporary vows. Simple vows, 3 to 6 years, a period of deepening community involvement and completing theological studies. Solemn vows, a lifelong commitment to the Augustinian way of life. Some friars may also be ordained priests or permanent deacons. Others remain lay brothers, equally valued for their roles. Formation also includes psychological readiness, human maturity, pastoral skills, and the cultivation of emotional intelligence. Though Christ is the center of their life, Augustinian friars hold a special love for the Blessed Virgin Mary under the title Our Mother of Good Counsel. Her image is often found in their chapels, homes, and schools. Augustinian saints are revered as models of holiness and wisdom. These include St. Augustine, the towering intellect and passionate heart behind the rule. St. Monica, his mother, a model of perseverance in prayer. St. Thomas of Villanova, a bishop who championed the poor. St. Nicholas of Tolentino, a wonder-working friar known for his prayers for souls in purgatory. St. Rita of Cascia, the saint of the impossible, revered for her life of patience, suffering, and mystical union. Their lives embody the Augustinian call to love God and neighbor in total sincerity. Today's friars are also adapting to modern realities. Many use digital media to evangelize, running YouTube channels, podcasts, blogs, and social outreach. They speak on topics like the confessions, addiction recovery, spiritual loneliness, and theological controversies. They participate in ecumenical dialogue and interfaith initiatives, fulfilling Augustine's call for peace. In essentials, unity; in doubtful matters, liberty; in all things, charity. Modern friars often wear habits in public and may engage with people in coffee shops, online comment sections, or religious debates. Their presence is a gentle witness to God in a world that often forgets Him. Augustinian friars face challenges: loneliness. Despite community life, emotional intimacy may feel elusive. Activism, burnout. Being constantly available for ministry can lead to spiritual exhaustion. Cultural pressures. Living counterculturally in a consumeristic, hypersexual world is difficult. Internal conflict. Friction among friars requires constant forgiveness and humility. Vocation crisis. The Western Church's decline in vocations brings heavier burdens on fewer shoulders. Yet they persevere, trusting Augustine's own struggles and words. Do you wish to rise? Begin by descending. You plan a tower that will pierce the clouds? Lay first the foundation of humility. Despite its sacrifices, the life of an Augustinian friar is one of joy. It is a path of deep intimacy with God, meaning through service and richness through community. The friar learns to love not only God in contemplation, but also Christ hidden in the stranger, the student, the dying, and even the brother who annoys him. In this way, he becomes like Augustine, a restless heart that has found rest in God and invites others to do the same. The joy of fraternity, the sacredness of the Eucharist, the intellectual challenge of theology, the sweetness of reconciliation, and the raw beauty of humble service all shape a man into a vessel of grace. To live as an Augustinian friar is to carry within the tension of heaven and earth. He is a pilgrim of the interior life, a lover of truth, a servant of the people, and a brother to his fellow friars. He is not perfect, but he is always seeking. And as he prays, preaches, studies, and walks the halls of his priory or the streets of a parish, he does so with Augustine's ancient cry burning in his chest. Late have I loved you, O beauty, ever ancient, ever new. Late have I loved you. In the end, the Augustinian friar lives not for comfort or acclaim, but for Christ. And that is enough.